Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Simorgh deck profile. So I'm excited for this one because this deck just got a new Link monster in the Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty, which is a super good, really cool Link monster that enables us to do all sorts of crazy things in this deck that are really good. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into this. Before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a deck profile of your choice every single month, getting a signed card sent to you by myself, or getting your name in the description of every single video of DarkArmedDuelist. So let's get straight into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Simorgh Lord of the Storm. So Simorgh Lord of the Storm is a really good card. You can get away with 2 copies of this card in this deck, but I really prefer the third one because it has the ability that your opponent cannot target tribute summon, or your opponent cannot target this tribute summon card with spells or trap effects, and you can only use the following effects of Simorgh Lord of the Storm once per turn. When a spell, trap, or effect is activated, quick effect, you can tribute a wind wing beast monster you control, and then target 1 card your opponent controls and shuffle it in the deck. And then when a wing beast monster you control is destroyed by battle, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand. Really cool effect. Have to say, this deck is probably one of the most budget decks you could ever build in your entire life. Just saying. Then we play 3 copies of Simorgh of Darkness. Simorgh of Darkness is a really cool card because when a face-up monster on the field, or when it's face-up on the field, it also counts as a wind monster, and it has the abilities that if you tribute summon a dark or wind monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there, or from your hand even if it was not. And when a spell or trap is activated, you can quick effect tribute a wind monster, wing beast monster, and negate the activation if you do destroy it, which is a really good effect. Let me play a single copy of Simorgh of Dark Simorgh, which is the original Dark counterpart version of this. I really love this card because if you guys know my fiance, Scorpio Senpai, I play with Dark Armed Dragon. She plays with Dark Simorgh. Like, that is her signature card, is Dark Simorgh. For the longest time, she played Ninja Harpies, and then now she plays Simorgh and Harpies and all sorts of different decks like that. But it's a really cool card. That when this card is when this card is face up on the field, it's also treated as a wind, and you can remove this card. You can remove and play a dark and a wind monster from your graveyard, and if you do, then this card can be special summoned from your hand, and you remove and play a dark or wind monster from your hand to special summon this card from your graveyard. Your opponent can't set any cards at all, so they have to summon everything in face up, which is a really cool effect. Then we play just a single copy of Simorgh Bird of Protection. Simorgh Bird of Protection, when it's normal summon, you can target a card your opponent's spell and trap card zone and return it to the hand. And then if this card's in your graveyard, a lot of your Simorgh cards share this ability, that if this card's in your graveyard and your opponent controls no spell cards in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon this card in defense position but banish it when it leaves the field. And also you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except wing beast monsters, and you can only use the particular Simorgh monster's effect once per turn. We play 3 copies of Bird of Calamity. Bird of Calamity, when it's normal summon, you can send a Simorgh card from your deck to the graveyard, which is a really neat effect to be able to just send those extra Simorgh cards you need to the graveyard to get your effects off, to be able to go off with all sorts of different plays, and then it shares the ability that you can special summon if your opponent controls no spell or traps. Then we play 3 copies of Simorgh Bird of Beginning. The Simorgh Bird of Beginning is a really good one because it's the searcher of the deck, that when it's normal summoned, you can add a Simorgh card from your deck to your hand, and then it also shares the ability that you can special summon it. 3 copies of Simorgh Bird of Beginning, or Bringing, and then Bird of Beginning. Bird of Beginning is a really good one because when it's normal summon, you can activate its effect during your main phase. You can normal summon another Simorgh monster in addition to your normal summoner set. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can do the same thing where you can special summon it. Then for the other tech cards that we play in this deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Mist Valley Apex Avian because you can special summon it off of your Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. We play a single copy of Mist Valley Thunderbird. Mist Valley Thunderbird goes in with the loop with Mist Valley Apex Avian, which is really a neat loop where you just can constantly negate everything. I really feel like, and I'm going to say this probably every time I put this card out there, I think that one of these 2 is going to get banned on the next list. I would not be surprised if it's Apex Avian because this card has been around a long time and you still get a walking negate with this card. I don't think they're going to hit the Simorgh Link monster. I think they'll just hit this and ban it outright. Then we play a single copy of the Barrier Statue of Stormwinds, which you can special summon to your side of the field off of the effect of the Simorgh Link monster. When you put it on the field, you just make it so your opponent can't special summon anything but wind monsters, and neither can you, which is not that big of a deal because usually by the time you special summon this card, you've already established your Simorgh of Darkness or your Dark Simorgh. It depends on what you're going for. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into these spells. So just saying, the core of this deck you can pick up for every bit of $10, but the tech cards like the copy of Apex Avian, the Barrier Statue, and the Mist Valley Apex Avian, or the Mist Valleys and the Barrier Statue, those might run you about $10 for all of them. But basically the entire deck is like less than $30 or $40. Like, it's a really cheap deck. Then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave because you can negate hand traps with it, and you really want to negate those hand traps. 1 copy of Terraforming to search our Elbor's The Sacred Land of Simorgh. 2 copies of Twin Twisters because this deck revolves around your opponent not having spells and traps, so we're just going to pop them all. 1 copy of Simorgh Repulse. Simorgh Repulse lets you discard a Winged Beast and return all cards on your opponent's spell and trap card zone to their hand, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard to reveal a Winged Beast monster in your hand, and if you do, reduce that card's level in your hand by 1 for the rest of the turn, which is really cool because you can reduce the level of Apex Avian and tribute it for 1 tribute if you're going to tribute summon it, or you can reduce the level of Dark Simorgh and then tribute it for 1 tribute, which is really cool too. 3 copies of Simorgh Onslaught. The Simorgh Onslaughts are really neat because they let you discard a Winged Beast to add 2 Simorgh cards with different attributes from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be Simorgh of Darkness and your copy of Simorgh Lord of the Storm, or one of your little birds, depends on what you're going to go for. I usually go for both the big birds with this. And then it also has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard to reveal a Winged Beast monster in your hand, and if you do, reduce its level. Reduce the level of that monster in your hand by 1 for the rest of the turn. So you can actually stack them to make it so you can tribute summon the Lord of the Storm for 1 tribute as well. Then we play 3 copies of Elbor's The Sacred Land of Simorgh. Elbor's is one of the best cards in the entire deck. That all Winged Beast monsters gain 300 attack, and then you can also use the effect of revealing a level 5 or higher Winged Beast monster in your hand, and this turn it can be normal summoned for 1 less tribute, and if you control a Winged Beast monster, you can immediately, after this card resolves, normal summon a Winged Beast. So that's why you play. It looks like it bricks, but it really doesn't, because it looks like you're going to brick with like all these, but you're really not, because this is going to reduce the level of those monsters by a lot, and then you're going to be able to tribute summon them onto your side of the field for basically for free. Then we play 3 copies of Trade-In because they are level 8s, and so you can just get rid of them in your hand if you need to. You can get rid of your Simorgh Lord of the Storm or your Simorgh of Darkness, and then draw 2, which really helps you dig into the deck a little bit deeper, and it's not that big of a deal if you get rid of 1, because you can search them off of Simorgh Onslaught. And then we play 3 copies of the Monarch Stormforth. It kind of goes with the wind theme, but it really helps out because this card comboed with Elbor's The Sacred Land of Simorgh can get you a monster on your side of the field and tribute an opponent's monster and basically turn your Simorgh into a kaiju, but you get to keep the monster. And the really neat thing is if you have a Simorgh of Darkness and you have both of these in your hand, or the Simorgh of Darkness in the graveyard, and you tribute summon the Lord of the Storm, you basically get to put them both on the field at the same time. So you get 2 really big birds that are walking negations, which is really an awesome deal, in my opinion. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Harpy's Feather Storm. The Harpy's Feather Storms really help out because they negate the effects of activated effects of your opponent's monsters. So that's why we play this card at 3. It's a really good card at 3 in this deck. I probably would always play this card at 3. If you control a Harpy, then you can activate it from your hand, but we don't play Harpies. Basically, you set this, and when your opponent starts their turn, you basically Dark Ruler no more than with this card. But that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty is a really good card in here because basically what you do with this card is you link summon it by linking away 3 Winged Beast monsters or 2 monsters plus a Winged Beast. And then during your turn, during your end phase, you can special summon a Winged Beast monster to your side of the field with a level less than the number of unused spell and trap card zones on the field. So if all 10 of them are unused, you can special summon anything that's level 10 or lower from your deck. So it lets you get into your Simorgh of Darkness, your Dark Simorgh, anything that you need, it lets you get into, which is really cool. And it also has the ability that if this card, it makes it so that your opponent cannot target Winged Beast monsters you control that this card points to, or this one with card effects as well, which is really cool. And then it also has the ability that if this card would be destroyed by battle, then you can destroy another Simorgh monster you control instead. So it's constantly protecting itself. It's really hard to get rid of this card. I play a single copy of Union Carrier because the Union Carrier helps me equip the Mist Valley Thunderbird to a monster, to get while this is on the field so I can lock my opponent out. Basically what you do is you use the Simorgh monster to put this on the field and keep establishing it. And then once you can make the Union Carrier, you just equip the Thunderbird to a monster like the Union Carrier, and then you just start bouncing it. You bounce it one time to your hand and then it special summons itself constantly, because it has the ability that if this card is returned to the hand, you just special summon it again. And it just loops over and over and over again, where you negate something once per chain, and then you bounce this, and then put it back, and then another chain resolves, and then you negate something else, bounce it back, special summon it, and then you keep bouncing it again and again and again. And it essentially is an infinite loop where you're just negating everything, which is kind of not nice at all. One copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Abermax. It helps us OTK a little bit. Boral Sword also helps us OTK. You don't have to play these, but they're options if you want to. You can change them out for, 0 Boros if you want to play 0 Boros because you banish in this deck. You can change them out for a Boral load if you want to go a little bit more budget for this deck. Unicorn because it helps bounce stuff. Phoenix because it helps pop spells and traps. This deck does a lot of spell and trap popping, so I do play a Cerberus in here because sometimes you need to pop a monster, and this deck doesn't do a lot of monster pops at all. 2 copies of Greatfly because everything you play is wind, and this card can boost them up by 1,000 if you have both of them on the field, which is kind of funny to have a Simorgh Lord of the Storm sitting at a whopping 3,900 because this deck can turn into a control deck or a beatdown deck at the same time. And then we play a small Galaxy Eyes engine because, why not? Which is Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon because it helps you take your opponent's monsters. Cypher Blade Dragon, you can overlay it on top of the Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, and then it lets you pop something. And the Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon because it lets you get 2 pops, essentially, for the price of 1. And then we get a number 38 Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy, negate spells, which is kind of fun. And then I play a Dingritsu Orchest of the Evening Star, because this card is a really good card to protect all your cards on the field by detaching a material from this card. You can also, if a card on the field will be destroyed by battle or by card effects, you can detach material from this card instead, which is really cool. And when it's when it's special summon, you can send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard or attach a banished machine, which we don't play machines. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck. It's really budget. When I mean really budget, I mean it would be really hard to pick a deck that was not as budget as this. This is about the bottom of the barrel budget as you can get. Because everything is a super or common in this deck. Super rare, common, or rare. So it's all pretty cheap. I mean, even the Simorgh Link monster is like $1. I mean, it's not expensive. I think I paid $1.20 for like 4 of them. Something like that. They're cheap. But anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.